So welcome again. So I will do my best now to share a little bit about how can we support our own practice of meditation and each other in this retreat, and what can do it. And it is said that there is about 84,000 doors of practice, meaning each one can find what is our door to what? A door to what? To the present moment. Because life doesn't exist before or after, it just exists now. And if we miss now, we miss out on our life. So, and on who we are. So that's sort of what we're trying to practice in this retreat. So the first thing we do, which is called mindfulness, is to take time with supportive conditions to arrive to the present moment, and to do that handshake between our mind, our racing mind, our intellect, and our feeling heart and body. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of times our intellect is much faster than our body and mind, right? We want to be somewhere, we want to do something, we want to react, we want to solve, and it's much quicker than what we can actually keep up with. So we want to harmonize, like I said, this handshake. We want to harmonize the rhythms inside of us, so that we can find, where is that peace in oneself. So a lot of the calligraphies you see around are kind of a little bell of mindfulness to go back to the present and stop running. And the calligraphy itself, like this one, it's like a koan. It's what does it even mean? Does it mean anything to you? Does it inspire you? Do you want peace in the world? You know, so it's a kind of a thing. And if so, how? How do you want? What do you want to do about it? So that's kind of this koan: peace in oneself, peace in the world. So we want to take time to find that peace, or you can call it the island within yourself, right? The island inside of us that has already what we're looking for outside. And in order to do that, we want to practice stopping. We want to stop, again, the racing mind. It's okay, it's good for many things, but sometimes it makes us crazy, right? So we want to stop, not to stop it in violence or to say stop, it's not good, but just kind of help it, invite it to come back and be with us and not race all the time. So we want to stop. And there's many ways in which this retreat invites us to do it. And sometimes we forget. We wouldn't be good. Me too. If you see me doing something stupid, okay. We're practicing. We're doing our best. So the first thing we did was walking meditation, right? Today. But really the one thing that really helps us to do this handshake and to really come back to ourselves in the present moment is our breathing. Does anyone have an idea why is it the breathing? For most people. For some people it's not nice to go back to the breathing, and it's okay. But for most people, why is that? Do you have any idea? Why is the breathing helping us to go back to the present moment? Okay, let's take our hand and put it here and feel our breathing and tell me what you feel. What do you feel? Oh, try not to hit the microphone. As you notice your breathing with your hand, what happens? I can tell you what happens to me, and if anyone wants to share, you can share too. I felt my breathing immediately becoming longer, It may not be like that for everyone, but for me, immediately it became longer, which means my body feels calmer. When my body feels calmer, my brain gets a message, oh, it's okay now, right? And that goes back to the body. So that's the first thing that happened. And the other thing that happened, because I was just paying attention to my breathing, I wasn't thinking about anything. But sometimes it's very good not to think about anything. So the breathing is in the body and it's happening right now and it's moving all the time. And it's almost like the easiest place, again, for a lot of people, not for everyone, to bring our mind back into our body. That's the breathing. So it's almost like our attention rests in the breathing. And then the breathing rests in the body and we feel more restful. So if it didn't happen for you, it's no problem. I'm just saying that it's for most people it's helpful to go back to the breathing. Anyone wants to share something else? What happened when you felt your breathing? Did you feel more here? More alive? More, yeah. So that it's simple, right? It's not complicated. But the complicated thing is that we don't remember to do it. So that's more complicated. So that's why we create conditions here that to help us remember. And one thing that helps us to remember to go back to our breathing, to stop and go back to our breathing, is the bell. Okay? So there's this bell that Karoma invited for us, and immediately everybody went like, right? Because the sound is nice. We just listen to it. We don't need to do anything else. But there's also the bell for the meals. That's the kind of chunky bell. Yeah, it's not a very mindful bell, but we can be mindful with it. And then there's the bell that Karoma invited for activities. Usually 5 to 10 minutes before an activity, there will be a bell. So when we hear our alarm clock or a bell, what do we usually do? I have to go, right? But this bell is the opposite. I don't have to. I don't have to go. So when you hear a bell, especially that kind of bell or the smaller bell, and even the kind of cowbell they invite in the kitchen, you stop. You physically stop, but not freeze, but stop, relax, and follow your breathing. And tell me afterwards, after you've tried it, what happens when you do it. In Plum Village, it was one of my favorite practices, and sometimes I really didn't feel like stopping with the bell, so I accepted it. But when I did, it was really one of my favorites. So take it as an opportunity. It's like an instant meditation. And at home, some people put on their phone like a bell that chimes every 15 minutes or 1 hour, and they stop. But here, anyway, we have nothing to do, right? No work. No. People are cooking for us and washing for us, so we can stop with the bell. So if you hear the bell, don't think, oh, I have to go to my room and go. No. First stop, relax, breathe. And one time there was this kid in Plum Village, sort of got the instructions right. They asked the kid, what do you do when you hear the bell? The kid said, I stop breathing. So not exactly. I stop and then I breathe, okay? So that's an invitation, right? It's not like an obligation, but an invitation. And that helps us with that sort of running mind, which is also sometimes driven by our habits, right? Our habits push us, and stopping with the bell, or you hear a bird, you can stop, whenever you want, to not be in a hurry, to not let these forces inside of us pull us this way and that way, and away from the present moment. So usually in the world that we live in, most of us multitask, right? Anyone not multitasking here? What does it mean to multitask? We eat in front and do something else, right? We walk and we listen to something, or we talk. We eat and we talk, and so on. Or we go outside of the house. While we're opening and closing the door, we're looking at the phone. Anyone else doing this? Or just me? Yeah. So here we don't want to do it. We want to do one thing at a time, and that really helps, that relaxation, that feeling of I'm okay, it's okay. I don't need to stress. So the whole retreat is designed in such a way that we don't multitask, because when we do something, we do it, but still notice it. Notice that multitasking energy that we all have. And one thing that may very well help us to do it is to have I'm going to say a word that may be controversial, but smartphone detox, okay? Detox. And I'll try to do it myself too. So you can, if you really need to check something, it's don't fight it, don't force yourself, but do it in such a way that others don't notice. So maybe you're waiting for a message that someone's okay. And go, not in your room, go somewhere else, privately, not hiding, but so you don't carry others with you, and check. But if you don't need to, news, messages. I just want to send this wonderful picture of that mountain. Wait, because I want to send a picture of the mountain. Wait, if you can and if you dare, you can put your phone, either shut it off or put it on flight mode, right? And say goodbye. And you will discover that you're much more free. But it's very hard to do. But we support each other here, so try. I mean, we're not forcing. In some retreats, people give their phones, and somebody keeps it in a box, but we don't do it. It's harder here. You have to be disciplined yourself. So, but in the room, see if you can support your roommates not to do it, not to look at the phone. And again, don't bring your phone. So that's why I came equipped. I have a watch, I have a clock, so I don't need to, I have no excuse. No, I just need to see the time. No, I don't. I don't need to see the time. But if you have to, then put it on flight mode. It still shows you the time, right? So I encourage you. Another way to go back to ourselves in the present moment and stop running is, do we have one here? The calligraphies, but also the gathas. The gathas are the little, where do we have them?
The bathroom, the toilet, and then by the sink in the room, and somewhere in the stairs for breathing and drinking tea.
So for tea, going up the stairs, in the bathroom, next to the sink, you have little poems. And if you want, you can, so we don't want to multitask, right? First read it, memorize it, and then if you brush your teeth, that was my favorite, one of my, Gata is a practice poem. So it takes our racing mind and uses words, because we like words, to bring us back to the action we're doing. To be mindful, not only when we're sitting or doing walking meditation or in a meditation hall, but with everything we do. So in the tradition of Plum Village, the practice is to be mindful with everything. It's not so easy. So the poems help us. So if I brush my teeth and I remember the words, brushing my teeth and rinsing my mouth, and I forgot the rest of it, but it's something with my words are blooming, something like that, right? Something like that. So before inviting the bell, there's a gata that Karomai says in her heart, and she sends the sound of the bell to us. So those poems are very smart, a smart kind of tool to rein us into the present moment with the words. Waking up this morning, I smile. You have that in your room? Do you smile when you wake up? Because I don't always smile when I wake up. But it's just the poem. It's like I smile. It's like, okay, I'm alive. I woke up. Great. I don't have to really smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live each moment in mindfulness, each moment, and look at all beings with the eyes of compassion. Nice way to start the day. Then everything from there goes down the hill, but I'm just joking. But it's a nice way to start the day. It's a meaningful moment. How do I wake up? What do I want to motivate myself to during the day? It's a good reminder for our sort of intention for the day. So that's one beautiful. Okay, you know what? If you choose one poem, one gata, choose this one. I recommend this one. It's very powerful. And the smile thing is a kind of, again, see what it does to you, what it means to you, to smile in the morning. even if you don't feel like it. So that's that practice of stopping with those poems. Another way to stop is to practice what we call noble silence. So noble silence means that we're not giving a silent treatment to someone. It's not an alienated silence, because silence can feel alienating, right? We don't know what to. Are we okay? Are we welcome? It's a practice of basically releasing ourselves from the need to speak. And if we don't need to speak, sometimes we think less about what we're going to say, or So, and then we can hear more subtle things that are coming up inside of us, and start to create that inner peace, because we notice what's happening inside of us. So practicing noble silence doesn't mean you don't smile to each other, or that you don't look at each other. It just means that you are releasing yourself of the need to socialize. And it's only from after the evening activity until the next morning after breakfast. That's it. It's not much. You're going to sleep most of the time anyway. So, and when I was in Plum Village, I remember one of our teachers, Sister Gina, she used to say, it's really difficult, then practice noble whisper. That was for the children. And if you really really pressed, try to write it down first. Write down what you want to say, and maybe that will create an inner conversation first. But if you really feel like you're going to explode, don't force yourself not to speak. But just ask if it's okay to speak. And also, I recommend that when we're not in noble silence, which is most of the day, besides the meals and the meditation hall. So whenever you're in the meditation hall, see if you can practice noble silence, because maybe other people want to come in and just sit quietly. So this is a silent place. Dining hall is usually, during meals, dining hall is a silent place. Otherwise, it's not a silent place. During the day, see if you can practice noble speaking, which means just to keep the content and the manner of speaking to what is happening in the retreat. A lot is happening in our lives, in the world. Maybe some of you know each other and you need to catch up. And just see if you can do it gently, without taking yourself and others out of the retreat. Does that make sense? Yeah. And you can speak about your life, but in such a way that how is the retreat related to it? How is the practice supporting me? You don't have to be very strict, like I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. No, you don't need to be stiff. But see if you can practice noble speaking. In Plum Village, it's called loving speech, and also deep listening. So again, not multitasking. If you're listening, just listen. If you're speaking, just speak. So see if you can do that during the day when it's not noble silence. And again, if you didn't do it, it's okay. When you catch yourself not doing it, go back to what you want to go back to. Besides that, there's like a general sort of creating a physical space that supports us. Be aware of how you come into space, come out of it. One of the most helpful things for me in the monastery was when someone suggested, when you move, notice the sounds you're making when you move. Boom, 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 or, you put something because you're upset, and just notice it. And immediately something happens. Notice, if you're a sound person, noticing the sounds that you make as you're moving about is very helpful to go back to the present moment and notice what's happening inside of you. Also notice fragrances that can be very distracting. So in the meditation hall, it's usually recommended not to wear strong perfume, because maybe the person next to you would feel kind of, instead of focusing on their breathing, they will focus on the perfume. It is customary to use incense, because that creates a different sort of experience in us somehow. Why, I don't know why, but it's like that. Also, I don't know about bringing drinks into the meditation hall. No drinks. I bring water because I speak a lot, as you see. So I need to drink a little bit, but it's just water and it doesn't have odor, coffee, tea, So that way it's cleaner here. So we have all sorts of things on our schedule. So I'm going to come slowly to a conclusion, and then we'll have some announcements. I did want to take time for those of you who may less know about sitting posture, because we're going to practice sitting meditation in the morning, sitting meditation in the evening, and now we're doing sitting, right? And we sit with our body, first of all. And our body can support our mind, and our mind can support our body. So sometimes we work from top down, and sometimes from down up. How do you call it? Top down, and then what's the other thing? Bottom up. Bottom up. So this is how I sit. You don't have to sit like that, but what is important to notice that my legs create a firm, wide basis, and that's how my torso can be very relaxed, but upright. And when I'm upright, I have a tendency to sit. If I don't notice what I'm doing, I'm sitting like that, neck like this, and my chest is falling. But if I'm sitting for meditation like this, very naturally, it's just like that. And it's easier to breathe, right? And when it's easy to breathe, we are naturally concentrated. We don't need to make much effort. So you can sit stably with your feet either like this, but if maybe you're not flexible enough, so you can do this, okay? That's stable. And if you sit on a cushion, which most of you are, you sit on the front third part of it, not too much on the back because that will block the blood flow. And some of you may need higher cushions, some of you may need lower cushions. So when nobody's looking, you can experiment with as many cushions as you want to find out how many cushions you need. So if for example, I'm sitting and my knee is floating, I don't have a firm base, right? It's an effort. So either I make myself higher, or I put something under my knee to support, like I actually did. Okay? You can take anything you want and create constructions as much as you want and make yourself comfortable. Yeah. Don't take it lightly, your posture. Okay? If you need to cover yourself, cover yourself. Create this. And another way, some people prefer to sit like this. For me, it's not so pleasant, but for other people, it's great. So, and you put something under the, whatever you call that, ankle. It's not bad. It's not bad, but my feet get numb after a while. So for me, the half lotus is the best. If you do half lotus, you need to balance. Sometimes sit with one leg on top and sometimes with the other. Okay? So that's the kind of best. And then here, the upper part, you want to be upright but not like stiff. Okay? So there's one trick I learned, and you can do it every time you come to meditation hall and prepare for sitting, which aligns your spine with your neck and your head. And it's this, okay? You can put your hands on your knees, and we are going to make circles. It's that the movement comes from the pelvis, but the circles are made with the head, okay? So let's say we go a little bit back onto one side, and we make circles with our head. Front, other side. Start moving in circles. And then slowly make them a little bit smaller. And a bit smaller. I'll explain for those who sit on a chair in a minute, okay? Smaller and smaller. Until somehow you start to come back to the center, there's a slight movement, and you kind of stop there. For me, it did something. something aligned now. And here, after you kind of reach the center, you can notice that your chin is a little bit tucked in, and your chest bone is just a little bit coming up, and your shoulders are relaxed, and that's more or less, you're not leaning forward, not leaning backwards, not to the side. And if you notice yourself slipping away during sitting, if you come back to the posture, usually it will solve it. It will just make you concentrated again. So the neck is a little bit long, right? And the last thing, if you want to do it, because sometimes when we sit, we start swallowing saliva. So if you put your tongue behind your teeth on the front palate, top palate, it stops that. It helps you to concentrate, but you don't have to do it. And then your hands can be on your knees, or if you look at me, like one inside the other, and we kind of put it down. That's also one way to relax the shoulders. And that's it. You feel more concentrated like that? I do. But anyway, experiment. So that's for any time you sit, you can do that. And then if you need to move, you do it mindfully. And if that posture is not comfortable, sit in whatever way is good. If you sit on a chair, you have a little bit of a space between your feet, parallel feet on the floor. And for now, it's whatever way you sit is okay. But if you want to sit on a chair for sitting meditation, see if you can support your lower back and not lean back, okay? Support your lower back with something and sit up straight, like that. So the feet support the posture in this case. Okay, is that clear? Any questions about sitting posture? No? Good. So that's about sitting, and we're going to practice that tomorrow morning and evening and at the end of this evening. And we will explain. Every time we will explain, so you don't need to worry if you're not familiar with it. We're going to do the evening chant? No, huh? No. Okay. Walking meditation, we already practiced, and we'll hear a little bit more tomorrow. One more practice that we already did is eating meditation. Again, there's eating and there's eating meditation. What's the difference is the awareness. That's the difference. And that we're just eating. We're not doing anything else. So with eating meditation, which was never my favorite practice, but I'm learning, the idea is to really just eat. Don't think about it. Don't get... For some of us, eating is complicated. It's okay. So you do whatever is good for you. But the idea is to be very present for your eating. And that way, first of all, we are more satisfied by why we eat, and also our digestion is better, and we are more nourished, basically. We're more nourished. When we eat our food and not our thinking or our conversation, we are more nourished. And we appreciate what we have. And the stomach doesn't have teeth. So if we eat properly, our digestive system can absorb the food better. So the practical way to practice eating meditation, besides the silence and doing only eating and not anything else, is, I'll demonstrate it. Okay, let's say this is my spoon or fork, and this is my plate. I take a bite, put it in my mouth, and leave it. And so now I'm doing just one thing, right? Just chewing, rather than chewing and waiting for the next one. I tell you, I really don't, it's not easy for me. I don't know why, I get impatient. But I do enjoy chewing. So, and then you chew, listen to this, 30 to 50 times until the food is liquid, and then it's very pleasant for the stomach. And usually you need to eat less, but you don't have to. So that's the practice. And see what it does to you to eat without the stress of having to finish, without having to think about anything else. And again, if this is too stressful for you, you do what's good for you. You know, we don't have to force ourselves for anything. Eating can be a thing. So, I'm saying I didn't like it, but it is helpful for me to practice sitting meditation. And we support each other, okay? And I think the last thing I have to say, by the way, we're very lucky, but normally in a retreat in the tradition of Plum Village, we also have working meditation. Here we don't have it because we don't work at all. But when you put your plate back, for example, after the meal, think of it as a working meditation. Do it in the best way you can. Really scrape the food off, really kind of make it nice, things like that. So we don't have working meditation. We are invited in order to do this thing, this handshake, this kind of creating peace and harmony within ourselves. We practice in the spirit of what we call the 5 mindfulness trainings, and you can, somebody here kindly printed it out and left it out there. You can have one of those either in English or in French. Take it with you and read it. So basically, this is a way to be aware in the world. We're in a retreat, but we're still in the world, right? So it's a kind of an ethical guideline. It's not an order. It's a guideline. See if you want to practice in this spirit of non-harming, non-greed. Notice, be aware of your sexual energy. I'm just going through it, right? Be aware of your speech, and be aware of what you consume. So we don't drink alcohol in this retreat. We don't smoke. If you smoke and you want to go somewhere and smoke, you can do it. But it's about mindful consumption. And the beginning of each mindfulness training is aware of the suffering caused by something. This is the motivation. Not because somebody said so, because we're not allowed. No, it's because we're aware of the suffering that's caused by something. We want to cultivate the opposite. That's all. And it's a practice. Sometimes we can do it and sometimes not. So this is the spirit in which we want to invite you if you want to practice. So you can take time to read this. Some of you may already know. I think that's it for me. Anything else I forgot? No. And anyway, we're going to explain things as we move on, as we move through the retreat. Tomorrow morning, so tonight we're going to have announcements, short sitting to kind of let things sink. Then as we leave the hall, we'll practice noble silence. Okay? Again, it doesn't mean not to smile, not to look at each other. It just means we don't need to speak, that's all. And see if you can do it in a room. Challenge. If you can do it. And tomorrow morning, is there wake-up bell or no wake-up bell? You have to make it on your own to the meditation hall by 7:30. I recommend coming a few minutes earlier. Create your whatever you need to sit. Normally, traditionally, we sit in rows like this, facing outwards, so we don't get distracted by looking at someone and look what she's doing, and no, we're with ourselves. But here, beyond this, there's a beautiful forest, and we want to see it. If we happen to open our eyes, so this will be open, and we will sit like that. So see if you can focus less on who's in front of you and more either inside, or if you open your eyes, there's beautiful forest, okay? So this is how we're going to sit. So please come a few minutes before 7:30. There will be an activity bell, right? Before. And we sit for half an hour for guided meditation, so it will be explained tomorrow. And after that, we will let you know what's the schedule. And the schedule is always written on the board outside here, right? That's it. So thank you very much. So I wish you a very joyful retreat. Don't get upset with yourself if you forget anything, or just enjoy.